Hello, students. Today we are starting a brand new chapter on Chapter 7. This lesson is 7.1, Constructions and Scale Drawings. So follow along with me in your textbook on page 272, please. The key idea for this section is adjacent angles, and I want you to write this down and also draw the example. Two angles are adjacent angles when they share a common side and have the same vertex. For example, angle 1 and angle 2 are adjacent. So let me highlight angle 1 here. Angle 1 and angle 2 are next to each other. They both share this common line, as well as they share this vertex here. However, angle 2 and angle 4 are not adjacent. Although they have the same vertex, they don't share a common line. Now, vertical angles are two angles when they are opposite angles that are formed by two intersections of lines. Vertical angles are congruent angles, so that means they have the same measure. So I will highlight the examples. Angle 1 here and angle 3 are considered vertical angles. If you notice, they are opposite each other. They're formed by two lines that intersect, and the angle measures are the same or congruent. From the opposite angle, angle 2 here and angle 4 are also vertical angles. They have the same measure, and they are formed by two intersecting lines. So copy this down and include the drawings as well as the vocabulary. Example 1 is on page 272. We need to name a pair of adjacent angles. So by looking at this drawing, we're looking for two angles that share a common line as well as a common vertex. So I'm going to start by highlighting angle ABC. And angle ABC shares a common line with angle ABF. And if you notice, the AB is the common line as well as the common vertex of point B. So when I list my angles, I would say angle ABC and angle ABF are adjacent. So those two angles are adjacent. Those are just one example. There are many others. For example, CBD and DBE would be another example. Now for part B, name a pair of vertical angles. And vertical angles are formed by two lines that intersect. So I'm going to just highlight two lines here that I see intersecting. Line AD and line FC here. When the two lines intersect, they form vertical angles. So angle ABF and angle CBD are considered vertical angles. Another option would be angle ABC here is vertical with angle FBD. So that's another example. Right now, I'd like you to try on your own on page 272. Name two pairs of adjacent angles and two pairs of vertical angles in each of these figures. So remember, adjacent angles are next to each other. They share a common line and a vertex. Vertical angles are when two lines intersect, and the opposite angles are the same measure. Pause the video to work these out. In example 2, we have to tell whether the angles are adjacent or vertical, and then find the value of x. So here we have a pair of angles that are opposite each other. They look like they have the same measure, and they're intersected by two lines. So these would be vertical angles. Okay? And vertical angles are congruent, so that means they have the same value. Therefore, if this angle is 70 degrees, then the opposite angle will also have to equal 70 degrees. So x is equal to 70 degrees. Now on number 2, we have two angles that form a right angle. So we have x plus 4 here, and then we have another angle that's 31 degrees. And when I add both of those, they form a 90-degree angle. These two angles share a common line as well as a common vertex. So these would be adjacent. And when I add these up, I can combine the like terms. 31 plus 4 is 35. I cannot combine x plus 35, so I leave it. That equals 90 degrees. Solve, so isolate your variable x. And when we subtract for number 2b, we get x is equal to 55 degrees. And when you add those up, it will equal 90. Now on number 3, we have to construct a pair of vertical angles that are 40 degrees. So we will use this protractor here. If you have a protractor like this, then you can use it. If you don't have it, then you can use the textbook and just estimate. So I need to measure 40 degrees. Right now I'm at 0. I'm using the outside numbers. I start at 0 and I measure all the way up to 40 degrees. So there's my 40-degree angle. Now it says draw a pair of vertical angles with this measure. So here I have one line that I'm going to extend, and then I have my other line that I'm going to extend. So you can see, pardon the bell, you can see here is a 40-degree angle, and here is a 40-degree angle. On the opposite side, we know 40 plus a number equals a straight line, which is 180 degrees. So this side must be an obtuse angle that's 140 degrees. Whoops, let me write with a different pen. 140 degrees is an obtuse angle. If this side is 140, the opposite is a vertical angle, so this side has to be 140. If you added all of those up, you'd get 360 degrees, which forms that circle there. Now, I would like you to try on your own on page 273, numbers 3 through 5. I'm sorry, and then I want you to try number 6 as well. So let's make that 3 through 6. For 3 through 5, tell whether the angles are adjacent or vertical and then solve. And I gave you hints for each of those 3 problems. For number 6, it says draw a pair of vertical angles with a measure of 75 degrees. Now, if you don't have a protractor, please use your textbook. The exit ticket is here. Go ahead and answer those. Have a great